This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hey everyone, Michelle Fern. Welcome to Cattitude. This is a new, hopefully reoccurring episode that will happen every now and then called the Cat Mewsroom. Get it? Mewsroom, like when a kitty mews. So the Cat Mewsroom. And today I have two kind of recent topics that are out there in the news that I want to talk about they just trigger me, I'm passionate about both. And it's just one I'm thrilled about and one boggles my mind. I just cannot even wrap my head around it. So thank you for sharing that, Mr. Producer. There's a dead lizard on the floor. It probably means one of my crew is busy at work. We live in South Florida, and our studio's in South Florida, and guess what? There's lizards, a lot of them. So sometimes they come inside the studio, and the kitty crew is at work. So yay! Yay to Molly, Charlotte, and Dennis. Stay tuned. I will be right back after this message. Hey, Michelle Fern here. Have you ever wanted to know more about your cat's background and health? I have something great for you to try. Paws is the first ever at-home cat genetics company that can give you that information with a simple DNA test. Here's how it works. When you purchase their cat kit online, they send you a cheek swabbing device that can be used to collect your cat's DNA. You send your sample back to their lab. Shipping is prepaid in the U.S., and in 6 to 8 weeks, you receive your cat's report. You'll learn about the breeds and wild cats your cat is most similar to, as well as its carrier status of 45 plus different genetic health markers. You can use this information to help care for your cat better. And something great for all of my listeners, you can go to basepaws.com and get 15% off the DNA kit with the promo code Cattitude.
Go to basepaws.com, BASEPAWS.com. Use the promo code Cattitude for 15% off.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the first episode of the Cat Mewsroom. So, welcome. All right, first, I want to talk about something I am so happy that I'm thrilled about. I'm so happy about this. New York is the first state to ban declawing of cats. It will be only allowed if medically necessary. And it's not exactly brand new. It passed in July of 2019. We're taping in August 2019. I'm a little slow, sorry, but I'm so excited about this. I was born in New York, and hey, yay, New York. Now, New York is the first state to ban declawing, but some cities have already banned declawing. Los Angeles, yay. I lived in Los Angeles for a while. San Francisco and Denver. So those three cities already have banned declawing of cats, and there's many European countries that have banned declawing of cats. But New York is the first state to ban the declawing of cats. And most of us listening have cats. We know that declawing is not just the same as, some people think it's the same as, fingernails on humans, just cutting the little tip. And so what's the big deal? Not the same. Not at all. It is cruel, absolutely cruel, to declaw a cat unless it is medically necessary. And here is why. A cat's claws are attached to bones in their paws. So when you declaw a cat, it's actually amputating the first knuckle of a cat's toes. Whether they're on the front or the back, they're called toes. So think about this. Look at your finger and imagine cutting it at the first knuckle. That's what you're doing when you're declawing a cat. cats have claws for a reason. It's a source of protection for them. Cats are predators. It's a way for them to attack and kill their food. Yeah, I know. The cats that live at home aren't really attacking and killing food. Unless, like I recently saw, unless there's a lizard in your house that they want to get, but even that they shouldn't be doing. Cats are predators, so their claws serve their purpose. They also help a cat in gripping and in jumping and in staying in places. Their claws have a lot of different uses. So besides that it's inhumane and just horribly disgusting, despicable to declaw a cat unless you have to for medical reasons, you're also taking away those reasons that they need their claws. In my research, I found some opinions that I thought were a little bit, unexpected. For instance, the New York State Veterinary Medical Society opposed the bill to ban declawing of cats. And the group said it should be an alternative for the cat if it results in abandonment of the cat or euthanasia. So, for example, say a person has hemophilia and wouldn't be able to tolerate cat scratches, then it should be okay for that pet parent to declaw their cat so they could keep their cat. That's, I think, extremely most likely very rare type of occurrence. And I don't know how likely that is to happen. I don't think that is such a valid reason for the New York State Veterinary Medical Society to oppose the bill. It's very slim. Of course, if you think about it, should you amputate a part of your cat's body so that you can keep your cat because otherwise you have to give your cat up? I am not going to answer that because I don't know. All I have to say is I don't believe in declawing at all. And here's another thing. I'm going to talk a little about cat scratches, but here's another thing. If you think declawing your cat will stop all the attacks and scratches and everything if you disturb your little sweetie kitty, cats that are declawed are much more likely to bite, and biting is a lot worse. So let's talk a little bit about cats. Cat scratches. Cats can infect a person through a deep cat scratch or a bite. The bacterial infection is called cat scratch disease. Remember cat scratch fever, an old song? So cat scratch disease, kind of similar. It's called CSD, and it's called by the bacteria Bartonella hanseae. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Many shows ago, I had a wonderful woman on. She's from England, and she was the first holistic cat groomer. And when she just got started, she suffered a cat bite, and she wasn't as knowledgeable in the beginning as she was as she began doing, more grooming and so forth. And her arm began to swell so badly, and there was and it was so infected that if she had not gone to the hospital in time, her arm would have been amputated. And it was all from a cat scratch or cat bite. I can't recall. But the thing is that cat scratches and cat bites can be very, very dangerous. The scratches and bites produce bacteria and can be very dangerous to humans. If you have the unfortunate situation where you get a cat bite or a cat scratch, definitely use some type of disinfectant to clear the wound and watch it. And if there's any type of swelling, oozing, anything like that, see a doctor right away. The holistic groomer I'm talking about, she had to go to ER, and she was in the hospital. Her arm it was such an ordeal. I think she couldn't use her arm for 3 weeks. It was just a whole big ordeal. So don't take cat scratches and cat bites lightly. However, on that note, I still think that cats need to keep their claws. It's my opinion, and I know that there's a lot of cat parents that agree, and I think most of us out there that agree, and most of us have had our share of cat scratches, but we agree that cats need to keep their claws. But be careful of cat scratches. We know our cats. I know Dennis. I could rough him up and play with him and do whatever. He has never scratched. He's never bitten. I think I think I've had him, oh my goodness, 8 years, I think. And he was an abandoned cat and found me. He, I think, hissed once. He's just like that. He's so good-natured. However, Diva Molly is another thing. She'll let you know when she doesn't want you to touch her. She'll raise her paw and give you a signal. So watch for the signals your cat gives you. If your cat has her paw raised and is kind of saying, back off. She's had enough. Don't force the issue. You're going to get scratched. You don't want the scratch. Don't even allow little love bites because the cat doesn't really, that one of those love bites might turn into a real bite, and then that would be nasty due to the bacteria that's in a cat's mouth. So just be wise, be careful, and don't declaw your cat. My opinion, but I know that there's a lot of people that agree with this. So that's my stand, and I am so happy that New York did ban declawing, and I hope many states follow along with that, and maybe we can stop this horrific thing that we're doing to our cats. Now, we're going to be right back with another Mewsworthy story right after this message. Hair everywhere. How do you manage your cat's hair, hairballs, and dander when they're not really fond of bathing? The answer is just a whisker away with catnip bath wipes from Whitegate. It's the only cat wipe on the market that's infused with natural catnip oil. Catnip bath wipes will leave your cat happy, calm, and playful, and you'll both look forward to bath time. Go to whitegateinc.com, that's WHYTEGATEINC.com, and enter the code CATNIP for 15% off site-wide plus free shipping. That's right, 15% off. We're not kidding.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Michelle Fern, your show host on Cattitude. Welcome to the Cat Mewsroom. And this is the second half, and we're talking about just newsworthy things. We talked earlier about how New York banned declawing of cats unless it is medically necessary, and I totally applaud New York. I'm so happy about that. And here's another thing that's been in the news, and this is crazy. I just don't get it. Okay. This just happened. By the time you hear this, you probably have said, oh, okay. And hopefully this does not go to fruition, but let me get on and tell you the story. Basically, there's a grandma in Ohio that's going to jail for feeding stray cats. Yes, you heard correctly. Nancy Segula is a 79-year-old woman she lives in Garfield Heights, Ohio. And she's received a sentence to 10 days in jail for feeding stray cats. Crazy, right? What is our society becoming? So I did some research and read about this because when I first heard it, I had asked the person who told me, I think 3 or 4 times, what? Someone's going to jail for feeding cats? How is this possible? Why? What? And so this is what I found out. Where Nancy lives, where Miss Segula lives, in Garfield Heights, Ohio, there's an ordinance. And that ordinance states it is illegal to feed stray cats. She has received citations in the past, and she has paid fines. So, Nancy Segula does know it is not legal to feed cats. But to me, this ordinance, in my personal opinion, it's the same as, hey, they're not supposed to jaywalk either, but people do it all the time, and I don't see people getting arrested, and that's illegal in many, many cities. So, right? Okay, so this is what I found out from research. Nancy had told several news sources that this is how it all started with feeding cats. In 2017, she had a neighbor who moved away, and he abandoned his cats. She felt sorry for them. I'm sure they were meowing like crazy because the poor things were starving, so she started feeding them. And after a while, a neighbor noticed and called the authorities on her. And she received a warning, a citation, and a fine. That was the first of 4 of them. Well, the last time the authorities were notified, she had to appear in court. And when she appeared in court, the judge gave a sentence of 10 days in jail. So that's basically it. She is sentenced to 10 days in jail for feeding stray cats. Now, I tried to look at this in a lot of different viewpoints because, law can be interpreted a few different ways. And yes, it's true she broke the law. However, maybe this law should be changed. Maybe this law should be altered. Why aren't the animal authorities picking up the cats and bringing them to a shelter so they can be, I'm sure there's shelters in Ohio, and bringing them to the shelter so they can have homes? What about that? Where's that part of this? In all the research I did, I didn't find anything out about that. So why isn't there something in the city other than don't feed the cats, a way to take care of the cats? To me, it almost seems that they want to shut their eyes and hope the cats just go away and become a problem in another city. And that is putting a Band-Aid on a problem. I've done many shows in the past and where we talked about how, cats, they breed like crazy. They need to get fixed. And a lot of cities have TNR programs, trap and release, because there's a place where I live, where there's just a lot of stray cats. And I've done the TNR thing for a few of my cats they're outdoor cats, they're community cats, feral cats, whatever you want to call them. And they just live outdoors. They would not, for the most part, do well indoors. They've never been indoors. It's just not for them. So why isn't there a program like this in Garfield, Ohio, instead of them closing their eyes basically and saying, no feeding the cats. If you do, you're getting a fine, you're going to jail. Let somebody else take care of them or let them starve to death, which to me is inhumane and horrible. So why isn't there something like this, right? Why isn't the law changed, especially after something like this? A grandmother going to jail for 10 days over this. Now, then you look at the other viewpoint. Let's look at it from maybe the judge's perspective or, the people on the other side of the coin. Okay, here's somebody that broke the law. She had fines in the past and she broke the law. So, true, and she has a penalty. However, is that the right thing to do? Is that the right penalty? Hey, taxpayers pay, your taxes pay for criminals in jail. That's part of where your tax money goes. And so would you rather, as a taxpayer, have your taxes go to, a grandmother that's going to jail for 10 days or a criminal? Hey, I'd rather a criminal be behind bars than a grandmother that's feeding stray cats. And again, before you send hate email, I'm looking at it purely subjective, as from a taxpayer's point of view, as far as does it make sense at all? Why aren't the criminals behind jail, not someone that broke some silly ordinance about feeding stray cats? So there you have it. This is how ludicrous some of these laws are in our country. And things just need to be changed. There's so much going on in the United States right now as far as politics and government. And this isn't a political show, so I'm not going to go down there. But when it comes to things like this, and, when it comes to a situation where we're sending a grandma to jail because she's feeding cats and she's spending 10 days in a jail cell, you have to think, what are we doing? How are we making our country better for our children, our grandchildren? What's happening to us? So there you have it. This is just something to ponder, to think about. And hopefully by the time this airs, Nancy is scheduled to go to jail August 11th in just a few days from now. Hopefully by the time this airs, it'll be after she's that time period. But I'm hoping that this gets thrown out. I know there's petitions that are going around and there's a lot of support behind her to not have her go to jail. I know her son found out and he was horrified. If I lived in Garfield Heights, I'd probably be with Nancy in jail. Hopefully she doesn't have to go to jail, but I'd get the same thing because I do feed the strays in my neighborhood. I've gotten them fixed as well, but I do feed them. There's one that comes around that is new. And what am I going to do? Let it starve? No, the other two are getting fed, so I'll have to feed him too, right? So I'd be joining Nancy. So I really hope that by the time you are listening to this, we will have heard that Nancy did not serve any time in jail, and there is somebody that is brilliant in Garfield, Ohio, that changes this city ordinance and alters it so that it is just so that that changes this ordinance so that instead of making it illegal to feed stray cats, why not make it some of the Humane Society or shelters in the area, make it an option for them to come and pick up these cats and get them fixed and release them so that there aren't more kitties and a slew of kitties all over the place, which is what I think Garfield Heights in Ohio is trying to avoid. So that's my opinion on this, which is just nuts. So there you have it. Something I'm so proud of our country of doing, which is New York City banning declawing of cats, and some crazy news that I'm so disappointed in to hear coming from our country that we're arresting a 79-year-old grandma because she's feeding stray cats and putting her in jail for 10 days. So it's kind of like you have the golden, the positive thing, have something that's so wonderful. Then you have something that's so perplexingly bizarre. But that's news. And I'm glad to have brought awareness to these two subjects. Hope you find them interesting. And there'll be another one of the cat Mewsrooms in the kind of not so far future of some, topics in the news with cats that I find of interest. If you have anything that you think I should have on my cat Mewsroom, please let me know. You can send a message to Michelle at PetLifeRadio.com. Thanks to my cat crew, Molly and Charlotte and Dennis. Those were all stray cats that I was lucky enough to be able to take into my home. And for my outdoor cats that are TNR cats that just are not the type to be indoors. So that is Sammy and Jethro. And I would love to hear any of your cat rescue stories and any other topics you have to tell me about, the cats in the news or things I should feature for the cat Mewsroom. Send them to Michelle at PetLifeRadio.com. Now keep listening. We have a lot of great shows coming up.
Let's Talk Pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.